Okay, so here we are. Last week I showed you how to process an image in Photomatic, and now I'm going to show you how to post-process it in Photoshop. And one of the first things I'm going to do is show you our clouds up here. See how they're kind of pixelated and pretty nasty? And that's because of the HDR process. So first thing I'm going to do is duplicate the layer, and you can either right-click, duplicate layer, or you can press Ctrl-J, and it duplicates the layer. Now I'm going to Gaussian blur the whole image. What that's going to do is it's going to take that sky and kind of mush it all together. If it's too dramatic, like that 3.9 looks a little bit too much, I'm going to go down a little bit. That looks good. Yeah, perfect. Now that did that globally, it didn't do it locally. It did it to the entire image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a mask to go over top of this image. And I'm going to go ahead and fill that mask by pressing Shift F5 with black. So basically what we did was we just covered up everything that we just did as if we never did it at all. See? Now to bring that back, we paint with white on top of the black area. White pulls things back, black takes things away when you're talking about masks. So I'm going to go ahead and get a brush, and I'm going to hit the right bracket key to make my brush bigger until I get about right. There we go. Now I'm using a Wacom tablet, which really helps out a lot. Wacom, Wacom, however you want to say it, which helps a lot because I can pull this back by painting in rather than using my mouse, and it's just a more natural feel to me. Okay, so now the Gaussian blur is only affecting the sky. And we can check that by clicking on our layer, clicking off our layer, clicking on our layer, clicking off our layer. Look at that. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do adjustment layers. I'm going to do levels and curves. Those are the two main ones that I do every time I pull an image in. So to do that, you can either go to Image, Adjustments, Levels, and Curves, or you can go down here to Levels and Curves, which I prefer to do it this way because it makes it a layer. And I'm going to go ahead and see, you can look at the histogram here and see that we have nothing over here. This information, there's no black information over there. Watch as we pull our black slider bar into the bell curve. It starts to pull some of that black in there, make it a little bit more dramatic looking like I saw it. So that's what the black slider bar controls the blacks in the image, and the white controls the highlights, and the gray controls the middle ground. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it just about right there. And you can play with those all you want. Now I'm going to adjust the curves. I usually do a little S curve on here. It's something I saw in a book and I kind of liked it. Rick Salmon's book actually about HDR book. It was pretty good. Okay. So now overall I think we're looking pretty good. We might be a little dark, so I'm going to pull some lights back in there. We will pull the dark just a little bit away. And that's typically my workflow. What I'm seeing here is that the horizon is not exactly right. The horizon is basically in this area right here, so we're at an angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the ruler tool, select the ruler tool, and pull my horizon in the direction that I want it to be, right there, and then press straighten. Okay, and now my image is straightened. See, there's the horizon, image is straight. Now the last thing I'm going to do, because it does look kind of blurry to me still, and that's just because the HDR process didn't go over very well, is I'm going to do a high pass sharpen as well. So now to combine all of these layers, I'm going to click on the topmost layer and press Control-Shift-E. And I'm actually going to go back and click on that topmost layer and press Control-Shift-Alt-E. And what that does is it takes all these layers and it flattens them onto one layer on top. So right now it looks like nothing's going on here. But what I did was I took all of these 4 layers here and made them 1 layer on the topmost side. So now what I'm going to do is duplicate that layer, change it to hard light, sorry, and go to filter, high pass, and a 2.0 looks perfect. So now you can see what we did here is we kind of pulled some of that information back in, the information that was missing. 2.0 might be a little too much, but in order to push that away, what I'm going to do is just go to opacity and drop that down a little bit. And still it looks like there's still a little bit of noise in this water, and the high pass sharpening sharpens the image globally, of course. So what I can do here is also make a mask and paint in those areas that I don't want anymore. I don't want those to have that high pass sharpen. So I can paint black over those areas to start to push that grittiness away from the water. Again, I'm painting black on that layer because I want it to go away. I'm probably going to do it up here in the clouds too, because why would we blur the clouds and then sharpen the clouds? It's kind of counterproductive, right? And that's pretty much it. That's the basics of what I do with pretty much every image. Now if I see that something needs a little bit more, like reducing the saturation, then I can do the same thing. I can go to image adjustments, or go to my adjustments levels here and hit use saturation, and I can desaturate it or make it more saturated. But like I said, this is gross and disgusting, but you see it all the time in the HDR world, so I'm going to leave it low. Not -40. I don't like that low. We'll just, that's fine. And there's the basics. Oh, and you can flatten everything if you'd like by pressing Control-Shift-E. That flattens everything down, then you can file, save as anything you'd like. I'll just save it to the desktop as a JPEG because I'm going to be uploading it to the internet.